Hello, today I will talk about description. What is description? Description shows a reader what a person, place, thing, or situation is like. When you write a description, you try to show, not tell about something. Many of you have been writing journal responses with personal experiences, especially the journal response that dealt with the essay on pet therapy. Many of you have actually had pets or have pets currently, and you have talked about your pet and how that pet has influenced your life or the life of others. Many of you not only gave me the pet's name, but also described in detail how that pet has made you feel or made others feel. In writing that, you are describing not only your pet, but also its behavior. This is at the heart of description. You want to paint a picture for the reader because the reader does not know, for example, your pet. So, in describing your pet and what it does, you're painting that picture for me so that I can visualize that pet and its behavior. You can also describe a person this way. Just by the name alone, I can get a lot of information about that person. But even more important is what the person either looks like, or what the person does, or what the person says, can paint a fuller picture for the reader so that I can understand this particular person. Make sure that when you're writing a description, and this could be a descriptive paragraph, that you're using specific words that will help the reader see what you're describing. Also, make sure that the words are specific, not vague. You want to make sure that any specific word that you use tends to give a better view or understanding of the object that you're trying to describe. One way to make your description more specific is to use sense words. By that I mean sight, sound, taste, even smell. These kinds of words tend to help the reader visualize, again, the object, person that you're trying to describe. So think about, whenever you're writing a description, about what kind of impression you want to make on the reader. I'm talking a lot about the reader because as you're writing, you're always writing to an audience. In the case of a class like this, you probably think that you're just writing for me, the professor. However, when in real life, when you start writing and describing or narrating, there might be a wider audience. So you want to make sure that you take the reader into account whenever you write. And that I will bring up time and time again as we move forward in this course. Now, how do you plan a description? Make sure that you have a good topic sentence. So for example, when you are writing a descriptive paragraph and describing perhaps a person, make sure that first sentence gives the reader a general impression or a dominant impression of what you're going to write about. So for example, if you're saying that a particular person is a very emotional person, you might want to start with that topic sentence. However, as you move along in the paragraph, make sure that you give the reader details that show to the reader that that person is emotional. There's many emotions. You might want to focus on one or two that describe this particular person. So if the person is angry, you can say that the person is angry. However, you want to make sure that you give us some of those other sensory descriptions. For example, if the person gets angry and goes like this whenever he or she is making a point, then that would show to the reader that this person is very expressive and shows his or her anger by going like this with his fist, his or her fist. That is a great way to show that this person is angry through his or her actions. So I want to emphasize that with description, it's always good to show action. It's easier said than done, of course, when you're writing. So you might want to give the reader not only what the person says that shows anger, but also what the person does by going down with his or her fist and maybe describing the sound that I make when I go like this. You want to make sure that you're as descriptive as you can. And by using the different senses, you are really painting a picture for the reader to see. I want to conclude this section by saying that in reading your journal responses, many of you were quite descriptive, and I thank you for that. Especially with your pets. It seems like we do have a very close bond to our pets. In many instances, I could see the pet that you're describing. And that's where you want to get to in description. That is truly a successful way to describe, is when I can see that dog or that cat or whatever pet that you described in that journal. So keep striving to be as descriptive as you can be. And remember that you will be using description when you're writing your narrative essay. Description and narration are very closely linked methods of writing. Think of description as being the method of writing that will make your narrative more powerful. Without details, sensory details, your narrative will probably be not as interesting. So description is a powerful method that we use in order to help our narratives, our stories that we tell. As you're writing your journal responses, make sure to also think about description, not just the type of story or personal connection or personal experience that you want to include in your journal response. Think about description because it can be an important way to help the reader visualize what you're trying to say. Thank you.